When the Torah commands us to love our fellow Jews, notice how it doesn't say "V'ahavta l'klal Yisrael kamaycha," and it doesn't say "V'ahavta l'kol Yehudim kamaycha." It says "V'ahavta l'reacha kamaycha." Who is reacha? Which individuals fall under this category? Are there people who we aren't allowed to love? Are there people that we're perhaps required to hate? So the Gemara in Psachim Kuf Yud Gimel Amud Beis is explicitly clear that someone that sins, or that someone that harbors views that are contrary to Torah values, or someone whose behavior reflects his hostile attitude towards the Torah way of life, not only are you not required to love them, you are in fact required to hate them. The Rambam in Hilchos Ritzicha Yud Gimel Yud Dalid goes so far as to say that it is a mitzvah to hate such people. Now, why is that? Why don't we just live and let live? The answer is that the Torah knows the power of subliminal influence, the power of people who disregard Torah behavior and the effect they could have on our children and ourselves if we don't stand up and say something, either by confronting them and attempting to be Mekayim the mitzvah of Haicheach Taichiach Es Amisecha, or at least getting down on a knee and saying to our innocent child that what that man is doing is not correct, and we don't act like that. Mass assimilation of the Jewish people doesn't happen in a vacuum. It occurs after years and decades of having groups of people coming 45 minutes late to davening, sitting with their feet up in the back of the shul, talking loudly, saying Lashon Hara about the Rav while the Rav is giving his drasha. And innocent kids watch them and look to their parents for some form of direction, some form of line in the sand, and the parents say nothing, or the parents may even secretly wish that they had the social courage to join that group. That's how we allow the breakdown of our values. It's the live and let live attitude we sometimes have when we pass by the women dressed completely Nazistic, sitting in a semicircle talking about their love of money and how annoying the town Rebbitzin is and how old-fashioned those frummies are who don't let their daughters watch Netflix and how ridiculous all those crazy people are that check their lettuce for bugs and how they only wear black schmatas that have been out of style since the 1930s. If we go about our lives never once mentioning to our kids or even to ourselves that this is inappropriate and this is destructive, that these people are chasing worldly, mundane pursuits instead of ruchnius and olam haba and mitzvahs, you know what happens? We get affected, and our kids get affected, and we start looking down on the Rav and Rebbitzin, and we start looking down on the principal of the school, and we stop being careful about modesty and halacha, and we start focusing more on chasing money than on chasing ruchnius, all because we didn't have the inner fortitude to hate what these people were doing. Oyave Hashem sinu ra, the pasuk says. If you love Hashem, you would hate what these people were doing. V'ahavta l'reacha kamaycha is not a mitzvah to love every person in our community, no matter what. Unconditional love. A kumbaya, where all people are equal and love must be spread to all, no matter what, and no matter who, and no matter what that person is doing. And no person's undeserving of our unadulterated love, no matter what poisonous opinions or egregious actions that person did. We still need to love everything about him, for it's all about love, and everyone deserves some love. You know who thought like that? The Woodstock hippies in the 1970s. And you know what happened because of it? The complete and utter cultural breakdown of America, which it has yet to recover from. Far more destructive than any law passed in America, far more destructive than any terrorist or any politician or any policy, was the counterculture movement that swept through our country. The breakdown in American culture was a direct result of the counterculture, hippie, love all, accept all movement, which, other than a few rabbis in New York, was embraced wholesale by the entire country of America. And because people couldn't tell themselves or their kids that this was wrong, we now have a country with a 67% divorce rate and with the largest drug abuse problem in world history, a high school dropout rate that's higher than it's ever been, complete disregard for religion, 29% of the country diagnosed with depression, and suicide up a staggering 37%. Love of our fellow Jews preserves the Torah, which is the greatest way of life known to man. V'ahavta l'reacha kamecha is not indiscriminate love of everybody and everything. It is loving someone because they are part of Hashem's team, because they're a fellow soldier in Hashem's army. Those that have removed themselves from Hashem's army and have married the American culture and routinely spit in the face of the Torah, not only do they not deserve our love, but according to the Rambam, deserve our hate. Human beings are immensely impacted by their surroundings. For example, over 75% of Americans are dehydrated at any given time. 262 million people out of 350 million people in our country are dehydrated, something which is fixed as simply as drinking more water, something that if not addressed can literally lead to seizures and kidney problems and chronic liver issues, blood pressure issues, and yet most people don't address it. Why? Because no one else addresses it, and most people do what most people do because that's what most people do. The Torah knows the power of the peanut gallery and the backbench in shul and the daily semicircle of anti-Torah Lashon Hara speaking soccer moms, and therefore the Torah is very clear. Only have ahava l'reyacha, to someone who loves Hashem, to someone on Hashem's team, but those that are not, stay far away. Walk right by those people with your head held high, because whether you like it or not, v'ahavta l'reyacha kamecha has two parts to it: loving people that love Hashem and hating the actions of people that don't.